Awesome, great. Tanse meo geisgao Taylor Belanger nasiga sun sigito wako stinia. So I just shared my language that, good morning. My name is Taylor Belanger. I am from a community named Sagitiwak, but the colonial name is known as Isla Lacrosse. It's a beautiful day here in my community, and I am the program lead for the Sîhtoskâtowin Program. Again, that's a Cree word that's translated to lifting each other up. So we really try to embody what that means to us as a program. I am also a mother, an Ogamau, to my young son. He's 4 years old, and he's just a little bit of a spitfire, and he keeps me young and wild. So I've got a son, and a little bit about the things I like to do outside of this work is just harvest some of our medicines. And I dabble in a little bit of naturopathic medicine. But today we're here to talk about the Sîhtoskâtowin Program, which is a support program that helps Indigenous communities align with projects around health and healing, cultural reclamation, and Indigenous food systems. So we financially contribute to that work and in hopes that they sustain amazing initiatives happening in their community. Yeah. So even though our people have been practicing this way of life since time immemorial, it has increasingly become harder in the last century due to colonization, as well as the disconnect it has caused in today's society. There used to be families that hunted and gathered together, and each had a role to play within the tribe or within society. But now you're seeing Generation Z, the younger generation, not all of them, but some are completely disconnected from the meaning of kinship and responsibilities because things simply just got easier in terms of access to food chain stores. An example I can give you is you can drive to the grocery store or a fast food joint, which then contributes to overall health of our people. That's another topic in itself, but the biggest barrier is certainly the disconnect and losing the meaning of how important it is to deepen our relationship with our traditional food systems. Another one is overlooking the nutritional benefits of organic or wild foods versus store-bought foods. So support through our program, the Sîhtoskâtowin Program, it allows for communities and members to spend the time developing a plan to revive traditional food practices. They may incorporate nutritional education, like I have seen, and actually have the funds to support these initiatives, more importantly, sustain them. Yeah, we are in an extremely critical time in regards to reviving our culture and our practices. When you have a team of people who are uplifted or seen and heard for the things they want to accomplish in their community, it gives them that extra boost and they make it happen. They plan for it. And so this allows them to pay special attention to what has worked for us in the past. And that includes bringing youth and elders together. We view our knowledge as ancient knowledge, teachings that were passed down from generations that help us survive today. I know for myself, many of the teachings I've received has helped me tremendously and helped me navigate in this new world that we walk in. So through our program, we want to ensure that people are taken care of and help them understand that there is a program out there that respects Indigenous ways of life, offer supports where they feel they need it. This past summer, we funded a beautiful cultural gathering called the MakeWay, which translates to living in harmony together. This was led by two young people out near Prince Albert National Park, and that park is actually settled on sacred land that was stewarded by the surrounding nations long ago. But the nice thing about that was they actually partnered with the national park to ensure everyone worked together and shared deeper understanding of what it means to live in harmony together. But through that 5 day gathering, which served the purpose of revitalizing our culture and included access to ceremony, elder knowledge exchange, and teachings, learning workshops like the drum making, hide tanning and fleshing, learning our traditional medicines. And this was out on the land. So, people pitched up their tents and their trailers to spend time together as kin. I was completely blown away by the amount of youth that attended from 3 different nations. So it was incredible. And it left you with a feeling of just hope that our community partners are not only providing opportunity for their nations, but teaching the youth to honor our ways, which will certainly impact their quality of life. So, our ways of working are deeply rooted in working relationally. This very program was designed by 42 knowledge keepers from all across the province to ensure we are developing something that best serves them. And what we have learned is that understanding one another goes a long way. What we do when we have a community or group interested in our program, we set up time with them, either in person or via Teams, where we get time to spend together and learn a bit about them, what their idea is, and how we can best support them. We have many community partners returning to us, and I truly feel it is a result of trusting one another, and that is what we truly want to support the good work happening in community. Well, it certainly helps that our program is Indigenous led. When you are working with someone who you can relate with, it makes things so much easier. And all of our Indigenous people know, with some of our teachings around respect, is that we don't judge one another. We listen and we hear what they have to say, and we just continue to work together in a good way and ensure that we have the right people on our team to make that possible. So there's so many transformative moments that I would love to share on the impact of our cultural reclamation. Um, since since our inception of the program, there have been many communities coming forward to support their language revitalization initiatives. One out of Cowessess First Nation. There's another one coming out of a school in Dakota Territory, and it's just beautiful to know that our younger generation is being taught a language that is almost lost, and there is an extremely sense of power in that, in reclaiming who we are, to be able to walk in a good way, knowing our identity and knowing that we have a place in this world. And so we truly respect the way communities want to lead their projects, and we respect that they have the vision to ensure everybody's living a quality life. And so there are many amazing projects happening, even around food sovereignty, right? So we have Onion Lake First Nation, for example. A request came in from a community member. He was not with a First Nation band. He was not with an organization. He was simply just a young man that wanted to see a community garden where he's living. And so what we had done was we had time to connect and hear about his ambitions and whatnot. And of course, there are some barriers when it comes to how do we legally fund projects, people, and places. And so we encouraged him to reach out to the band to see if they'd like to partner with his idea. That didn't go so great, but he had mentioned that there was a health center in the community. And so he reached out to 2 amazing dietitian ladies who were on the same visual plane as him and just had the same ambitions. And they said, you know what? Let's team up and let's make this happen. And this was 2 years ago. So we were able to financially contribute to them a couple times, which led to such success in that community garden. They included nutritional educational workshops. They've included family and elders, and all of the young people were actually interested in learning how to grow. And so you never really know what the impact is unless you take I don't even want to say risk unless you take the chance to trust in somebody that is very passionate and that they'll do the work that they're very inspired by within the community. And so there's a lot of great projects happening, and there's so many stories attached to them, but those are just a couple. So BHP is a great example. If there is a team uh, or a person that leads with their heart, you know that they're wanting to get involved for the right reasons. And that's what we look for in funders, especially with the type of work we do through the program. We certainly highlight and look for a team that is eager to learn and foster good relationships. Um, you know, there's a world filled with funders and philanthropists, and they're eager to actually support programs in general. But we, as a program, want to ensure that we have the right people involved in the work that we do, because it's very important to our community partners and to our Indigenous people that we're fostering good relationships. And that we have people involved that truly want to see good happen in the community. Yeah. So in my personal experience, because I developed a healing lodge here in my community as a solo person, and I faced a lot of barriers in terms of access to funding because we weren't a registered charity, or because we weren't a qualified donee. Um, these are the realities of a lot of grassroots people, and what they face when they're trying to do awesome initiatives that benefit the community and the people. So, but on the other side of things, you're working with a band and they might have access to federal funding or provincial funding. And it just goes to the nation, and they decide how they want to disperse that amount. But then you have a grassroots group that is doing incredible catalytic work that's happening on the ground, but they don't have the financial support to continue doing that work. And so we really try to figure out a loophole, or try to find a host for those grassroots groups, to ensure that their vision is being respected and that their work is being respected, and that we hear them and we see them and believe in what they're doing because it is making an impact, right? So we do work with nations, municipalities, communities, grassroots groups. There is just a few things that we have to tweak to ensure that they're being supported by us. And again, one of them is just CRA stuff and the legalities of everything and how to transfer money legally. And so we truly wanted to understand what those barriers were. And I think actually I know that's why a lot of the work um, that is meant to happen is not happening because of those barriers of not accessing funds where they need it to go, or it's just really hard to attain um, that financial contribution. Uh, yeah, another thing is some application processes are extremely long, and by the end of these applications, you're just like drained, and so we try to minimize that barrier, and our application is pretty straightforward. But what we really want to do is connect with the person and just help them fill that application out along with them. So every member of each specific community knows exactly what their community needs. And so when we have connected with previous community partners and current community partners, we do set time aside. Again, we set time aside with them to learn about either what's happening in their community or what kind of initiatives they'd want to launch to address these issues. And so we give them the power to lead in their own way because they know exactly what they need to do. We are just a helper program, and a supportive program for them to do those initiatives. And so this creates a meaningful space for them because they're taking lead of their initiative, and they're working with people they know truly and deeply, and they have families that they want to get involved. They have cousins, aunties, uncles involved, and so really we're just a support program, and we help them understand what is the next step to ensure that we have, proper funds flowing to them to do the good work that they're doing. So as I've explained earlier in the interview, that our families used to work well with one another. We all had a role to play in society. We all had responsibilities as hunters and gatherers. And so over the last century, it's slowed down quite a bit, and I'm really happy that a lot of families and communities are reclaiming that way of doing things and ensuring that our youth are valued in such a good way and our families are valued in such a good way, and we bring them back and really define what it means to have kin and the kinship meaning in general. And so I'll give you an example. There's a beautiful woman from Turner Lake Birch Narrows who is a complete food champ and is really leading the traditional food aspect of things. And she has a cabin probably about 30 minutes away from Turner Lake Birch Narrows, and you have to take a boat, which is even better because you're disconnecting to reconnect. So there's not a whole lot of cell phone service. You're living out on the land. Um, and you're learning how to like harvest medicines and learning how to hunt and trap. And so anyhow, this place is called the Home Away from Home Camp, and she actually has her family help her with a lot of the training and the workshops, and a lot of the leadership in taking the youth out to learn how to fish and hunt and trap, like I had mentioned. And so, and what you're seeing happening is a lot of those wounds are being healed, and a lot of those relationships are being repaired within the families. And I think we really need to go back to that and heal our family units, because a lot of our family and our cookums and our mushums had faced you know residential school discrepancies. And so, yeah, what's happening now is when you have families that are leading these amazing initiatives, they're certainly repairing those relationships and working in a good way, and yeah, making sure everybody has a place in this world. We hope that new nations and communities and grassroots groups hear about the work that we do and want to partner with us. Because how we're doing this is we are showing up through community work that is being led by community members. And we are allowing community partners and members to share about our work. So it's kind of like a word of mouth a thing, because we have an elder by the name of Joe Monroe, and he is deeply rooted in making genuine connections with people. And he shares how we do that is we again meet in person and we take the time to learn about one another. We don't want to start doing call outs or calling nations that we've never met before, because we're just very genuine in the ways that we want to build relationships. And so um, we certainly want to be able to reach out to people in a good way and in due time. And so I just hope that communities understand the work that we're doing and want to work with us, and make sure that our priority areas align with their initiatives. So that's a really good one. That's a really good one. You know, if funders have the ability to make an impact, that's supporting Indigenous led work. It's not only supporting their initiatives or their community efforts, they are literally helping improve the quality of life for Indigenous people and Indigenous communities as well. It's, I think it's completely overlooked at how important funders uh, are to the programs and the initiatives that we are running and leading. We have so much gratitude for our partners and our funders for even supporting the Sîhtoskâtowin program. But we are deeply appreciative of how much they've shown up and how they truly believe in the work that we're doing. And it certainly is making an impact in community. And what better way to continue fostering this good relationship than to continue working with us and sustaining this program to ensure that we're not just a band-aid solution for Indigenous people or Indigenous communities, but that we want to help sustain them so that they can live the quality of life that they deserve.